The home Grand Prix of the vast majority of the FF1M teams here, the British Grand Prix. Last year's race saw Jarno Trulli beat Fernando Alonso, while Kubica took third after a late battle with Rosberg. Q1 saw a shake-up of the order after Austria's results. The top four after that race would now not pre-qualifying. This news was no news for FJR, who are in the top four anyway, but Guy Racing, Dark Wolf and Shake and Bake now don't have to pre-qualify. In their place are MRD, Shannon and Pedersen. Those three made it through to Q2 anyhow, as do Mitchell, who make it into a race for the first time since Monaco, and Andy Racing make it through as well at the expense of X-Elite. It was a closely fought Q1, and here's Q2 with Cleon on the track. Adrian Sutil. His seat has become recently under threat after he's not performed to the level that Michael Pedersen has not required him to. And Raikkonen goes on P1 at the track, and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's teammate, Jean-Marie Bruni, will not be contesting this race after he was brutally injured by Tornado assassin Liam Neeson. In his place, there he was De La Rosa, who enters his first race since 2002. Here's Ricardo Zonta on a lap. 1.2 seconds down on Hamilton's best time. Here's Mark Webber driving for Tornado. Tornado tops the Q1 team sheet, showing their familiarity with Q1. Vettel on a warm-up lap. He did a good fight back in Austria, and here's the onboard lap into Copse Corner, taken very quickly. There's the Maggots curve, the left-right, and now the Beckett's left-right, slightly tighter than the Maggots complex, hitting the apex beautifully, and the left chapel into the Hangar Straight. About to cross the first timing beam now, and he is 1.5 tenths quicker than Lewis Hamilton. In Stowe Corner, very fast right-hander. Now as they go past the building works for the new pits, although FF1M didn't use the new pits weren't completed for this season, so there's the metalworks on the right as Vettel went past Club Corner. There's the fast Abbey curve, very frightening corner. Now into the new section. Now there's the right-hander, followed by a tighter left-hander hairpin. Down to the Aintree curve, flat-out left-hander. No problem for Vettel as he is 6 tenths up on Hamilton at the second sector point. Now the Wellington Straight and into the more difficult Brooklands curve now. It's a slightly quicker flowing left-hander into the old part of the circuit. There's Luffield, as it has been unchanged. Now into the start-finish straight after this flat-out woodcut kink. Vettel goes fastest by nearly a second. Kubica goes 8th. Kubica won the last race, but Guy Racing may struggle on this track with its long straights, not suiting its engine. Pantner 8th. And there's Wirtz. Goes 14th. Other news is that the A1GP this last round took place at Brands Hatch, and Sergio Perez, driving for the Team Mexico, drove a superb couple of races to overhaul Eddie Irvine for Team Ireland to win the championship. We're hoping to see Sergio Perez in FF1M soon. Alonso only 17th. Glock goes 9th. And here's Tony Eliuzzi, who had to pre-qualify, but made it through no problem. Rounding the last two turns, there's Luffield. And the last sort of a turn, but it's no big deal for any F1M driver, and Eliuzzi goes 3rd. Great effort from him. He's had a difficult season, and Surely a high grid plate will do his confidence a lot of good. There's Nico Rosberg rounding Luffield. Was very unlucky in Austria after Webber slammed into his left rear tyre, and Rosberg goes second, beats Hamilton. Ralf Schumacher, former world champion of course after the 2005 season. Adam Carroll, not a bad effort from him. We've seen the Utsib going well. Can Jenson Button do the same? Yes he can, he goes third. And here's Lewis Hamilton, looking to improve on his effort. How's he doing at the second sector point? Only 3/10 down, he's on course to beat Rosberg. As he threads the Luffield needle. Onto the start finish straight he goes. What can this effort do for him? Goes second, he beats Rosberg by the nearest of margins. Webber goes 9th. Rosberg, his sector times have improved. Can he beat Hamilton in second place, or can he do anything about Vettel? He beats Hamilton. Beats Hamilton by 2/100ths of a second. Wirtz has also improved on his sector times. What can he do? He goes 15th. Another improvement on his sector times from Alonso. And he beats Wirtz into 15th. Rosberg on another effort. Should also mention in the A1GP that there were 9 different winners altogether. Rosberg improves his lap time, now only 3.5 tenths behind Vettel. Kubica only goes 11th. E-Racing's not quite as quick as they are here than they were in Austria. And Sebastian Vettel's 1 lap, enough to secure him pole position. He seems very confident for the race ahead. Rosberg second, out qualifying Zonta. It's now 5-4 between the FJR drivers in favour of Rosberg. Hamilton and Button, all Brit row 2. Liuzzi and Raikkonen row 3. Bourdais makes it up to 9th. Klein rounds out the top 10, out qualifying Kubica. Giner down in 13th. He seems to struggle a bit compared to Vettel. And De La Rosa returning only 19th, but generally better than Bruni. 4 lights, 5 lights, the British Grand Prix is underway. And it seems like Vettel is in the lead. Yes, he's in the lead. As we look further down the order, is he going to try and break away from the pack? Rosberg is making a break with him as Buemi rounds out the top 22. Vettel onto the hanger straight, desperate to try and pull away from Rosberg, and he just looks safe, although there looks to be a lot of battles behind as Kubica tries to challenge Bourdais. Webber's gained 2 places to move up into 6th place as the top 5 remain the same. Bit of tyre smoke there, but no contact, and Glock goes through in 16th. He's dropped down 2 places, and Giner looks to be holding up a train of cars already. And look at that, 3 wide into Abbey, that's dangerous. Suttil's had a good start. He's now running behind Alonso. As Vettel goes into Brooklands. And now it's Rosberg becoming under pressure from Hamilton. I was remembering Canada that Hamilton overtook Vettel for the win and went on to dominate, so Vettel's first place, lead of 1.1 seconds. Oh, as Hamilton looked on the inside of Copse there, but to no avail. Hamilton looking to take second place from Rosberg and try and do anything to beat Vettel in front of his home crowd. Shake and Bake are based in Yorkshire, so there are teams that are closer to the Silverstone Circuit, but it's still their home Grand Prix. Identical engines in these two cars. He's going to try into club corner. The inside. Whoa! Rosberg carried a bit more speed there. I think Hamilton may have been a bit cautious, and now he's got Jenson Button behind him. Another driver looking to impress in front of his home crowd. Shannon are based in Belfast, so definitely a few teams closer to Silverstone than Shannon. Does he look close enough into Brooklands? No, I don't think. Rosberg adjusting his line a little bit. Maybe in anticipation of a lunge. This new Silverstone looks quite difficult to overtake on, one chance being at its club corner. Otherwise, getting alongside looks quite difficult here. He's having a look again. Oh! Thought he was going to do it then, but Rosberg changed his mind about letting him through. As these two battlers are now... Oh, and Hamilton, he's done it up into club. Up into second place. Bit of a timing glitch there, because Vettel says he is 1.5 minutes ahead of these two, but no, that's not the case. Webber up the inside into Brooklands, the inside of Liuzzi. And Kubica challenging Bourdais for 8th into Copse. No. Got to be careful, because he's got two cars behind him. One of those is his teammate, and the other is Pantano. Zonta has had a poor start. He's dropped down behind these lot. He's dropped down to at least 12th place from 7th on the grid. So for now, it looks like FJR's hopes on points look to rest on Rosberg. And Kubica could try in the outside line, but not succeeding there. Definitely not Guy Racing's home Grand Prix, as they are based in Brazil. And Kubica's up the inside into Brooklands, side by side, and Kubica's up to 8th in the points. Now Clean's going to try and do the same into club corner. He's nearly contact, but Bourdais hangs on to 9th. Dodgem desperate for points. And Vettel's lead down to 2.6 seconds. So Hamilton does look to be eking out into Vettel's lead. And Webber 6th, challenging Liuzzi for 5th. He's got to be careful now. Raikkonen's right behind him. And Hamilton in the pits. That's early. Has he got a problem? That is too early to be a scheduled stop, and it definitely must have a problem. And another pit crew out ready for a driver. Yeah, there's another driver in. It's Mark Webber. So maybe it's a 3-stop strategy that they're trying out here. Maybe that's why Hamilton was closing in on Vettel a little bit. In any way, Rosberg moves back up into 2nd. And look at that. Swarming about all over the back of the Pedersen there. That is Hamilton having rejoined from his pit stop. This is a terrible outlap. He's losing a lot of time. As the Pedersen challenges Genet. Vettel continues on lap 12. 9.6 seconds ahead of Rosberg, who himself is 2 ahead of Button, so at least Rosberg's not challenged from behind from Button. Both Shannon's in the top 4, so it's been a good race for them so far. As these battling trio come across as Kubica pits as well, so he was running light. Another driver in, it's Pantano. So I think those two drivers are trying 3-stop strategies as well. As Alonso challenged Genet, and Glock pits as well, another driver on a 3-stop. Now Hamilton's right behind him. Raikkonen's right behind Liuzzi. Is he going to challenge him into club corner? Right up on the inside, and Raikkonen is up into 4th. Both these teams had to pre-qualify after the order was shaken out, and that's Buemi. He becomes the first retirement of the race. Quite clearly a blown engine. So close to the pit lane as well. The Santander advertising board stops him in his tracks. Hamilton is right behind him, right behind Alonso, right into 10th place. Definitely not cautious through that corner. Now he's trying to make another place up on Genet. But now Alonso's challenging back. Alonso retakes the position from Hamilton and is now up to 7th. Meanwhile, Liuzzi runs 3rd after Jenson Button presumably has made a pit stop, and Genet pits. They're all coming in now on their 13th lap. Hamilton up the inside of Alonso into Copse. He's done him. These two are having a right good battle here. These two are championship contenders in the 1992 season in the Masters era. And Alonso won out on that occasion, but now Hamilton's broken free. Vettel in the lead. And he's into pits. Ooh, I wonder if he is trying a 2-stop. Not sure. Because lap 15-14 is quite early still. We'll look at his pit stop time as Rosberg takes the lead. Another team are out in the pits. It's a long stop, it's 13.3, maybe he is trying a 2-stop. The Shannon of Liuzzi pits. Rejoins in 2nd behind Rosberg. And Bourdais pits as well. He was up into 4th place at that point. Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. And Zonta also pits. So Hamilton is still chasing Vettel. He's now 6.1 seconds behind. Looks like Vettel's got the measure of the Brit. Rosberg makes a pit stop and he's behind Jenson Button. That's not good news. But he's going to do something about that very quickly, because that is literally just after his pit stop and he's already behind Jenson Button. He's up the inside to club. Jenson hanging on, but Rosberg takes 3rd place. Now the three-way battle can resume between Vettel, Hamilton and Rosberg. All three have made a pit stop, but it looks like Hamilton is on a 3-stop. We'll have to check that in the next coming laps. Meanwhile, the two MR... No, it's the Raikkonen and a Tornado, Webber, battling. They both had the colour green, so I thought both MRDs. And MRD does have blue as well, but we're on board with Raikkonen. So my apologies there. So Raikkonen still challenging Webber. Webber defending, but Raikkonen cuts on the inside. Look, he's got There's contact. Webber flips over. Webber's flipped his Tornado after Raikkonen shunted into the back of him. That's him out. The Marshal rights his car. Let's see what on board from Clean. I think Raikkonen was under, and Raikkonen got a nudge from Clean. That was not Kimi's fault. Clean bumped into the back of Kimi, who couldn't brake enough to avoid the Tornado driver. And this is Alonso taking an Andy Racing. And now he's coming up behind, I presume, Timo Glock. Got so much straight line speed into Abbey corner. No, he can't do it then. Rosberg now behind Hamilton. Rosberg's challenging Hamilton for second place. His late two-stop strategy is working out fine. Hamilton's may have to look after his tyres if he is trying to run a two-stop. Oh, that was so close into stir there. Now he's got the inside. He's got the inside. Hamilton hangs on. Rosberg may have been a bit cautious. This is giving Vettel a big lead now. Meanwhile, Robert Kubica has made up a lot of time during the pit stops. He's now running in 5th, behind Rosberg and behind Button in 4th, and the others have dropped back a lot. He's not even in the top 8, is Tonio. But Rosberg still on board with him as he chases after Hamilton. He's in the slipstream. Can he get him into Brooklands? Hamilton weaving a little bit. But Rosberg dives up the inside into Brooklands and he's up into 2nd. Now he's going to try and catch the around 10-second lead of Vettel. The gap between Rosberg is only 9 seconds. Rosberg is definitely quicker. Took 3/10 out of him in the first sector, and De La Rosa is looking a bit racy against the Andy Racing. I would say De La Rosa's done a better job already than Bruni, because Bruni seems to have struggled with the car a lot and dropped back in the races, while De La Rosa is actually putting up a fight against the Andy Racing of, I'll have to check the helmet, and Alonso challenging Genet for 13th place. He's right behind him. He looks like, I don't know. No, I don't think he can close up into that on the straight, so he's going to have to begin to drive his skill to catch him up. Much like that. Alonso now right behind and in challenging distance. Genet cleverly defends, and Adam Carroll's under pressure from De La Rosa. He's lost that position to the Spaniard. So it looks like both Spaniards are on the move. Alonso into the Abbey curve, right behind Genet again. Can he pass him? No, he can't get alongside. And Rosberg is definitely catching Vettel. Rosberg only 7.3 seconds behind Vettel on lap 22. This race is on. As Hamilton begins to drop back into the clutches of Jenson Button, who is only less than 3 seconds behind Hamilton. Alonso just doesn't have the power to get past Genet. The Mercedes is the better engine than the Toyota, but driver skill, Alonso into the inside of Club. He's done it. And look at De La Rosa right behind him, right behind Genet. This is three-way Spaniard battle. And De La Rosa is looking on the inside into Brooklands on his lap 22. He's done it into 14th. And oh, Rosberg in the pits. Throttle problem on his steering wheel. It's all falling into place for Vettel in this race. And Hamilton makes his second stop. He is running a 3-stop. I think they're going to have to change Rosberg's strategy now. Jenson Button runs second now, ahead of Clean in third. But but not for long by the looks of it, because Rosberg is going to be angry now. FJR have suffered some reliability problems this season. They were bulletproof last season, as Jenson Button pits from second and Clean also pits. And Rosberg's going to try everything to catch up Vettel again. Look at that! 1.6 seconds in one sector. It's going to have to be the drive of his life. The FJR have suffered some reliability problems. There was Rosberg's retirement in Malaysia, then Zonta had a transmission failure in Monaco. Another 6/10 off in that final sector. And Hamilton is the fastest man on the track. As we look at Kubica and Pantano battling for 5th place. On to lap 30. He's going to have a look into club corner. Pantano defends a little bit, but Kubica's up the inside, and up to 5th goes Robert Kubica. So we know that Vettel is running a 2-stop strategy, and Hamilton and Rosberg battling for 2nd there. Hamilton is the faster car on the track at the moment. Round the outside at club corner, but Rosberg hangs on. And that's a lapped Mitchell trying to get in there. This is costing Hamilton. I think Hamilton... And here we go again. And his engine's gone! Hamilton's engine's blown up! Just as he was shaking up a move on Rosberg, his engine has blown. Oh, what an absolute tragedy in front of his home crowd, and he's pulling off there. That's in a danger. That's a dark wolf that he just got hit by. He was choosing a rather odd place to pull off the track there, because he came off and then went back on. Zonta's on the move. Or is he under pressure? No, he's under pressure from Alonso. Into Copse. No, we've seen that many times. And Rosberg in for his 3rd stop. This is definitely a scheduled stop, so I don't think the pit crew put any fuel in during his unscheduled stop, which may have been a mistake in the end of the day. But he is coming in first out of Vettel, which means he may have the benefit on new tyres. Into the pits comes a Guy Racing of Robert Kubica. So we now know that Rosberg is going to the end of the race. And we got battling all over the place, and we're spinning Pedersen. That is Suttil, I think. I'm not sure about that one. As Shannon goes at the inside of a tornado. It's Button on Pantano for 4th place. And lapping a Dodgem there. Button and Kubica for 3rd. Button's trying to get onto the podium in his home race. Had a look round the outside, but no chance there. This is the battle on the track to look at the moment. Ooh, there's nearly contact there into Stowe, but Jensen's still got a good run. In the inside of Club, he's done him. Up into 3rd goes Jenson Button. He's pulling away from Kubica, it looks like. And Kimi Raikkonen's engine's blown up. Out of 8th place. Let's hope he chooses a more appropriate place to try and pull off. Well, not quite as appropriate, but a little bit more than Hamilton, who at least didn't make contact with any car. And here is Sebastian Vettel dominating the race, but looked under pressure at one point from Rosberg, and he wins. Confirmation there, dominating it in the end from Nico Rosberg. Fine drive to second place despite his gremlin. Jenson Button, superb third place. And De La Rosa takes the point in his comeback, so great effort from him. Already does better than Bruni. There's Vettel with a more than double of what Hamilton has. And Rosberg closing in on Hamilton and Kubica a little bit there. Dark Wolf's lead just as commanding from Guy Racing. Shake and Bake, despite having their driver in second, are running fourth in the constructors thanks to the lack of pace from Bruni. So that's Silverstone. See you in the next race.